Kanban's been around a long time, and we talk a lot about WIP, work in process, work in progress. And we know that if we do not limit our work in progress or limit our WIP, we will be doing too much work and our systems will break down. But what we don't talk a lot about is what comes before that WIP and what comes after. So I see a lot of Kanban boards with just like an options column or a upcoming column or a to-do column. Then I see a lot of detail in the work in progress area, big long value streams with lots of detail and lots of handoffs. And then I just see done at the end. And this is so naive. It is the most naive way that you can think of your work. And it tends to make us do things like give the ability to plan our work to somebody else. And then we say, well, we're a team. It's like, no, you're not a team. You're order takers. You have to be involved in the calming, the creation, the understanding, the definition of the work that you're about to do. Because if you don't, then you haven't provided the people providing you with the expectation of having that work done. You haven't had a conversation with them that says, here's how it can be completed. And here's what my estimate for a deadline actually is. Yes, we all estimate deadlines, even if we don't want to. And here is what I need as a professional in order to get this done. Also, maybe here's what I'm saying as a professional worries me about the task you've just put in front of me. All right? Before it's pulled into doing, in that planning phase, that's where we get to ask the questions like, is this complex? Does this require me to upskill? Do I need any new materials or new access to any resources that I don't have right now? Do I have time to do this? Am I going to be interrupted by any other things? Do I need to talk a lot with the stakeholder? All of these things go into when you pull a ticket into doing, turning it from win into WIP. When you make that decision, you need to know those things. The reasons that work gets stuck in WIP and slows us down is because it hasn't been properly defined before it goes in. And definition can be, I don't know what is going to happen with this. That's called complexity. And so when you know that you don't know what you need to do to get work done, A, you're going to a lot more time to it, and B, you're probably going to do it with somebody else. So win is us planning that work and figuring out what to do next. WIP, that's the one we all know, right there. Work in progress, work in process. And you can't finish without focusing. So here we want to limit work when it's in this doing state. And we want to make sure that that work is done correctly. It's done in a way that everybody feels comfortable with. That doing is a state that is frankly sacred. And we want to make sure that we've identified how to do the work back in win so that when we get to WIP, we know what we're doing and why. And then the last bit is WIR, W-I-R, work in review. And work in review is, I had a hard time coming up with this. I had a hard time coming up with this one because the right end letter didn't seem to quite present itself. But in this state, we have finished our work, but the product exists. And our responsibilities as professionals is to watch that work, to review that work, to study that work and then adjust, to check that work and then act. Whatever PDSA cycle, PDCA cycle you're following, after you're done, that doesn't mean ignore. So when work gets into that third column that people usually call done, you need to have ways in that work to specifically say, I am improving my work such that it doesn't decay. So if we just toss columns into tickets into done and then forget them, assume that implementation has that, or testing, or marketing, or whoever comes after you has it, if you're not watching it, you're not a professional. You're just someone who did some stuff and handed it to somebody else. So don't do that. So we have 3 specific states here. We have when, which is work that we're planning. We have were, which is work in review. And we have whip, which is our work in progress. And we want to make sure that we are paying attention to all 3 of those states, because if we don't, we won't ever limit our work in progress, because we won't know what we need to do, or we won't know the ramifications of what we've done. And those are all part of being a professional.